Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit True of My Chest and it's by user PossibleSalad994. I have just been betrayed by the two people I trusted most and I don't know what to feel anymore. I'm sorry if this is annoying, I can't stop thinking about it, and for some reason I feel more secure venting it to strangers rather than people who know me and can judge me more in depth. I won't lie. I have been suspecting my fiancé was having an affair, but I didn't have any solid evidence to accuse him even then. I had a feeling I didn't want to dig any deeper because I was scared in case what I was suspecting was true. 12 days ago, I came home from visiting my mom and I headed upstairs to wake my fiancé, who had a habit of sleeping way past 2 p.m. and then complaining that I didn't wake him. I opened the door and all I see is my practically naked sister rushing to try and get out of a lingerie bodysuit that belonged to me. I don't know how to explain it, but my mind just went blank, like whatever I was thinking about beforehand suddenly disappeared. You know when you stand up too fast and your head just gets a little dizzy? That's what I felt alongside the feeling of sickness brewing in my stomach. I stood there for a solid 30 seconds looking at the two people I trusted most look more shocked than I felt. My fiancé jumped out of bed and suddenly came up with excuses. It went from, "It was an accident," to, "I was lonely and needed sexual relief." I probably should add that my best friend passed 2 weeks ago. The girl I have known for over 15 years was suddenly out of my life, and even though people surround me, I've told my fiancé about how alone, devastated, and guilty I feel that I couldn't have done anything to help her. I just left. I didn't take my car because at that point, my eyes were about to start flooding. I walked to a friend, 10 minutes, and confided in her about what happened. The amount of grief I felt from not only losing a BFF, but losing my relationships with my fiancé and sister within the same 2-week period. Now that I'm sitting down writing this, I don't know if any of these relationships will ever be mended or could ever go back to the way they were. I don't understand why my sister of all people would do this. There was never any favoritism towards any of us for her to feel spite. I have never intentionally tried to hurt her. I sheltered her when she had no place to go, and despite her not paying a single penny, I bought the food that she liked, made sacrifices in my own home for her. Hell, she kept ranting about how our living room walls gave her a headache. They were white. So I took time out of my day to paint it a nice gray color. My fiancé too. I gave that man everything. I was willing to have kids with him despite the fact I always wanted to be child-free. I was going to start a family so that he would be happy. I gave him comfort whenever something bad happened to him. I spent hours watching unfunny movies that he seemed to find hilarious. I even gave him an effing locket with our anniversary photo, and then he decided to wear it while sticking it in my sister. These last days, I've gone from sadness to being angry and then disgusted, and it's a constant cycle. I've not been able to get out of bed. Despite being smoke-free for 2 years, I've picked up a cigarette. I used to be heavily addicted to smoking from 16 to 21. I'm currently 23. There's these moments when I go to do something but automatically lose interest, and even times over dinner. I don't know how to explain it properly as I've never felt this way, but I'm bored of eating? I have to force myself to eat something physically, and I have no idea what's going on with my body at this very moment. For some reason, it feels as if I've gone into hibernation. I sleep almost 17 hours a day now, and even for the rest of those hours, I'm still tired and force myself to stay awake. Both of them asked to meet up on Wednesday. My sister's exact message was, "Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me right now, but can you meet me and your fiancé? We want to talk. We want you to hear us out properly. The situation you found us in was not the most ideal situation to put you in a good headspace to talk about it right there and then. Please let us explain. I love you and you're my sister and I don't want to lose you. Please." I think it's too late. It was too late from whenever this affair started or even when she started getting sexual desires for my fiancé. I miss my sister, but according to what I saw, the sister I miss and whoever my sister is now are not the same person. I haven't talked to anyone yet except the one friend I'm currently staying with at the moment. I'm scared I'll be seen as a failure of a future wife. But now I don't even think I want to be a wife anymore. I guess I'd rather share to strangers than people who know me personally. I apologize again. Wow. OP, first, let's get one thing straight. This isn't your failure. You shouldn't look at it that way. This is your sister's and your ex-fiance's failure to not be trash. And I gotta say, I get the impression that your sister wanted to be caught. You were visiting your mom, so I'm pretty sure she could have had information about when you were going to get home or could have deduced it. And the fact that you saw her struggling to get out of something you own, that's BS. She wanted to get caught. She wanted you to see it for whatever twisted reason. She wanted to hurt you. This person you helped is scum. She's not your sister. And let's not even talk about your idiotic ex-fiance. He's also scum, so yeah, off with the both of them. And what you're describing to me sounds like you've gone in a deep state of depression. OP, you need professional help. You should talk to a professional to see how they can help you and try to start working on moving on. Of course, it's not gonna happen overnight, but just keep one thing clear. You didn't do anything wrong. None of this is your fault. And you should focus on yourself. And another thing I would do, apart from seeking somebody to talk to, is expose the both of them. You shouldn't feel any shame. It should all be on them, and it should be public. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What would you do if you were in her shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Atheist says, you have nothing to apologize for and nothing to be ashamed about. None of this was your fault. You've suffered a horrible betrayal by a family member and a partner. Again, none of this was your fault. To hell with your ex-fiance, to hell with your sister. No amount of apologies or excuses should smooth over a betrayal of this magnitude. Can you move out to a more permanent location? Can your friend help you to pick up your things? Have you considered speaking to your family about this? And again, none of this is your fault and nobody is going to fault you for not being able to be your best right now. Lean on the other people in your life right now if you can. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, but you can pull through this. And OP responds, honestly, I've not thought about my plan so far. The house we lived in, I inherited from my grandma, so as far as I know, I can kick both of them out. Though I'm not well versed in a lot of legal stuff, so I'm currently trying to take a look at my options in case I need a lawyer or anything like that. As for my family, I haven't said a word yet. I've not really spoken to anyone except the friend I'm currently staying at. I plan to tell them eventually about everything, though I'm just trying to better myself mentally before telling anyone else. New Neo and some numbers says, I'm so sorry they did this to you. Whatever you do, do not meet up with them. The fact she used us in her message means they will be informing you that they are a couple now. They are going to blame hiding it on you and your grief. They are going to use this meeting to manipulate you. You need to tell your family so they hear it from you first. Also, you need to start the eviction process now. The relationship you thought you had with your sister and fiance is over. They were never the people you thought they were. The best way to move on from people like them is to go strict no contact immediately. I would block them everywhere. Ask your friend that you're staying with to put the word out that the wedding is cancelled and why. I wish you the best. I'm Mahat says, throw your sister out, break up with your fiance. They are crap and shouldn't be in your life. You did nothing wrong. You are not a failure. Oh, and do not hear them out. Don't be swayed by their BS. It was a conscious decision they made. It didn't just happen. At some point, your fiance looked around his and yours bedroom, thought of you and continued effing your sister anyway. OP's edit. Hi, me again. I'm back and editing the post. At first, I was just going to dump this vent to get it out of my mind, but I want to say thank you for everyone's advice. I guess this counts as a small update? I'm unsure. So far, nothing big has really happened. The friend I'm staying with has offered to come with me to talk to my parents about this. Also including my older brother. She has honestly been my rock through this whole situation, and I couldn't ask for a better support system from one person, though I don't plan on putting that on her shoulders since it would be stressful to be the designated support system friend. I'm currently looking into therapy for both my grief and the affair. I'm not well versed in law, so I'm currently in the process of looking for a lawyer just so legally I know I'm in the clear in case there would be a loophole somewhere. I did contact my sister and told her, I don't plan on meeting with you on Wednesday. I'll talk to you when I'm ready, and whether it be tomorrow or years from now, it doesn't matter. You both owe me my own time to heal after the two people I've trusted most went behind my back, betrayed my trust all under my roof that you both lived rent-free under. Bye. I can't lie, I was almost ready to tell her to meet me there and then when she sent that message, but I've realized, and through the help of people in the comments that I can't thank enough, I need time to work on myself mentally rather than repair a long-gone relationship with my sister. No, I don't plan on going back to my ex and never will. Maybe one day I'll hear him out, but today's not that day. As for now, I'm getting ready to try and explain to my parents everything that happened. I don't have any evidence between my ex and sister, however I do have the messages they sent me, which traps one another. I think that's the right wording? But anyway, thank you all for the advice and kind comments and messages. Have a good day or night. Alright, well in my opinion the community gave OP some pretty good advice that I skipped over in my original commentary, like kicking them out. And of course, not meeting with them. And OP is on that same page considering she told everyone that thanks to those comments, she actually didn't meet them. So now it's time to move on to the update that is 1 year after the original post. But before that, if you're enjoying this content so far, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And now, let's move on with that update. Hi Reddit, me again. Smiley face. Coffee. I wanted to log back on as I wanted to thank the people who showed me more kindness than people I was supposed to trust, and also the people who seemed interested in my life. I can't blame them. When I read something that has some drama, I also become invested. I'll start with myself. I got myself into therapy and began taking care of myself and myself only. Upon entering my relationship with my ex, I hadn't noticed how much time I spent taking care of him and neglecting myself and my needs. It was one of those relationships that you didn't notice the faults until you left and became a sort of specter of what the relationship actually was. I think part of me was so invested in believing he was a good guy because of how past relationships had hurt me before that, I tried very hard to hold on to the idea that I had finally found someone who was different. Loving the wrong person can lead to devastating consequences, and I just happened to do that exact thing. Whenever I had seen stories before about people staying with their cheating partners, I was so quick to criticize how stupid that would be and thought, what did you expect when they cheated again and again? But now that I've been through that, it was eye-opening. It's not easy to just up and leave behind someone you had invested so much love, time, and effort into. Yes, you can lose all love for that person in seconds, but you never lose the feeling of love you felt before, if that makes sense. After I found out, I did want to try and work it out for many reasons, but through the help of my therapist helped me realize that I wanted to stay because after my friend's death, he was the only thing that felt familiar in the moment. Everyone is growing up and moving away in my life. I was in a position where I felt so alone. But to expect people not to change is not to allow growth. They moved out of my house and I moved back in. I won't lie, it was lonely. I was so used to other voices in my home that it felt empty. But an empty room is open to hundreds of ideas in my opinion. I redecorated with the help of friends and some family. And even though I had lost 2 people, thanks to them, I was able to make memories that I'll cherish. I won't try and cover up that before I got therapy, I was indeed a wreck. I was just so tired of disappointment from my ex that the cheating was the final blow that knocked me back into reality. My sister's betrayal hurt way worse because we shared the same parents. We used to share bunk beds and, without my knowledge, shared the same partner. But I owe them a thanks for allowing me to remove people who clearly had no good intentions. I will always love my sister even though I don't want to, but sometimes there are strings attached to people that just can't be cut, and she is one of them. I'll never welcome her into my home again, but I'll answer the phone if she were at her lowest. Even though she was a snake in my garden, it doesn't mean she's not my sister. She did try to call a couple of weeks after she had moved out, and at first, I was angry at her. I honestly just wanted to hit her with everything I had. But when I answered and heard her voice, I felt sorry for her. Everyone in my family knew how terrible she was, and just for some pleasure, she ruined the last relationship that was trying to help her. I just think she's a very self-destructive person that will never learn. They were constantly staying at different friends' houses because they couldn't afford to rent anywhere. My sister is apparently cheating on my ex with random people. Neither of them are able to hold down a job. I would say karma, but it's just sad. My ex traded someone who became a pushover for him, who gave him everything she could, for someone who couldn't give a crap about him. I wish them well. I deserve better than that, and I just hope one day they grow up and begin to become better people than who they are right now. I did tell my parents. The whole conversation was really hard for me. They were furious, but it was obvious by how my dad was responding to things I was saying that he was much more angry at my sister than my mom, which I understand since he came from a broken home due to his father's infidelity. My mom wanted to go low contact at first because she didn't want to cut off her daughter outright, and I understood, but I didn't tell them the truth with the intent that they'd cut her off. And I did let them know that all I wanted from the conversation was an understanding that I would not be in the same room, never mind the same building as her, at the same time. My dad did call me one evening to let me know that my sister and my ex showed up for a surprise dinner and gave a sob story about how things happened. The funniest thing they said was, "Sometimes people fall in love with the wrong person to meet the right one." Oh, F off. Said the woman who currently cheats on the man she supposedly loved. My sister did get fully cut off after she got caught stealing from my aunt's house. She was supposed to babysit and decided to steal all sorts of things like electronics and my nephew's stuff. As for meeting up with them, I did not. I decided that at the time, it would not help me at all to meet up with them, and I'm just assuming they wanted to try and clear their guilty conscience. I do get occasional messages from random accounts on social media from them, but I've chosen to ignore them and stop focusing on something I know will only hurt me in the future. However, I did see my sister on New Year's Eve. Some friends and I went clubbing because why not? And we unintentionally ran into her. At first, I tried to ignore her and just pretend I didn't see her, but she ended up coming up to me and tried to talk to me as if nothing happened. As the ex-partner, I wanted to slap her, but as her sister, I wanted to hug her and ask her why. But I just left. After we remove labels of sister or her partner's ex or whatever, we share the same DNA, and that will always be the thing that connects us. As for my dating life, I'm currently seeing someone and have been doing since November 2023. I deserve happiness, and I deserve a lot more than what my ex gave me. However, I'm still dealing with issues from that relationship that has me in moments of guilt of not giving my full trust. I'm happy that he understands and listens to me when I have concerns, but I don't want to constantly live with issues I carried because of someone else. We're taking it slow, and he always reassures me. He's a good guy and I'm happy he's in my life. I will find my peace with the situation eventually, but I'll have to work to get to that point, and that's okay. Sorry for the whole ramble, but this is still sort of a vent post. I have a lot of mixed emotions that I haven't been able to untangle. Thank you to everyone who listened, reached out, and gave advice. I appreciate that so much, and I hope everyone had a good new year. Well, OP, I'm going to count this as a positive update on the workings to become a happy one. You clearly still have some things to work through, but you seem to be on a good path. And also, if you're somewhat petty like me, the karma kinda helps. Not to get over the situation, but at least that life is giving them what they deserve. And that's all I'm gonna say about them because they're such crappy people, that's all they deserve. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. It's great that you're giving relationships a chance again and that you're taking your time to build that trust. Take care and thank you for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a short and quick mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Rajal Ready Taken. Can't refund an item bought at 70% off? Fine, give me a cash refund at full price. This happened a couple of years ago at Canadian Tire with one of their Mastercrafts tools that often go on sale for huge discounts. We were helping my in-laws clear out old belongings when they were moving, and I found an impact wrench that looked unused with a 2-year-old, edit probably much older, receipt attached. Father-in-law said that there was always a problem with it, so he never used it and forgot to return it. I decided to try to return it to Canadian Tire since they have long warranties on their products. The CSR looked at the receipt for $60 on sale from $200 and said, "You can't return this item with this receipt. Too much time has passed and the receipt is useless." I tried explaining there were issues with it, but she didn't believe me. I googled the issues right there and it came up as a recall from the exact reason I stated. I showed it to her and she begrudgingly agreed that I could return it as a recall. She asked for the receipt back so she could refund me, and I said, no, too much time has passed and the receipt is useless. She glared at me and processed a cash refund for $225 plus, including taxes. OP, that was fantastic, using her own line against her. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.